And I have to push this because I haven't been setting up what I want to do. All right. He's set up and everything. Okay, this is Pac-Man's the Concord. Concord isn't even like properly placed. I just realized, like, browse game, there's not really much games about it besides being talked about. It's so good they want to skip 100% focus. Alright, let's check this out.
Well taken, Concord.
Thank you, sir. Most kind.
And again. Over we go. Good, steady. And now, the big one. Come on, Concord.
Message for you, sir.
Concord. Concord, speak to me.
What?
Brave, brave Concord. You shall not have died in vain.
I'm not quite dead, sir.
Well, you shall not have been mortally wounded in vain.
I think I could pull through, sir.
Oh, I see.
Pull through.
Actually, I think I'm all right to come with you,
No,
sir.
no, sweet Concord, stay here.
No, I feel fine, actually.
Is that
Farewell,
wait?
sweet
Is this
Concord.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I love this skit.
I'll just stay here then, shall I, sir?
What I remember about the release of Concord is how quiet it was. During the waning hours of the launch week, the Sony executives and I were discreetly transported to the server room. It was a silent trip. We all knew what was about to happen, what we were about to do. Did we have any doubts? Any private traitorous thoughts the game could make a comeback? Perhaps. But we didn't say a word. What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here.
Hello, Act
And
Man.
Today, I think it's fitting we hold a candlelight vigil for Concord. He was the best of us, he was the worst of us. Today we celebrate the life and memory of Concord. All 11 days of it. Sony's
Oh God, is this basically like the year where the games that come out just get completely like off the list? Like we have it for the day before, right? And then I heard news about the day before being or returning, and the developers saying that they were going to have you trust them. And now we have Concord, which is dead in the water, and then now I'm hearing that it's gonna be returning. I don't know how, but hopefully they have new, like, better designs, because from what I've seen for Concord, since I've seen like ads everywhere for Concord, I just did not really find it, it didn't look that great to me. And it didn't look that fun. Well, I mean, since it was an Overwatch clone, I'm not really competitive anymore. Even though I would seem competitive, I'm just not competitive anymore.
latest hero shooter, and one of, if not, actually, I think this is the biggest commercial failure in video game history.
You fucked it up.
If you look at Wikipedia's list of video game commercial failures, the numbers are actually quite impressive when compared to Concord. For example, the Sega 32X sold 665,000 units and was still considered a commercial failure. Dude, the fucking 3DO, the console that costed $700, equivalent to $1,500 in 2023.
What? $1,500. Like, they probably had so much gear in it, like, compared to everything else. Like, it's like a powerhouse, but like it's a powerhouse that's not like suited for families. You know, like, oh, I'll get you this cool console. Oh, sorry, Timmy, it's $1,500. Well, from today's standard, or $700. So yeah, we'll get you the PS1 then, okay? Would you like that? I'm sorry, but like, I know you want your army men, but yeah, it's fine, okay.
Even this sold 2 million. Even the infamous E.T. the Extraterrestrial on Atari 2600.
Yeah, $700 for PS5. I was just thinking the same thing, because I think everybody knows now that like the PS5 is $700.
The game that is largely contributed to have caused the video game crash of 1982 sold 1.5 million copies. This is just to give you context. Concord, on the other hand, brace yourself, has been estimated to have sold only 25,000 units.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
The 3DO, the 32X, ET all sold monumentally better than Concord. And this game had a reported budget of over $100 million.
That's too much.
If you crunch the numbers, it's estimated about 10,000 copies were sold on Steam. Steam takes a 30% cut of all sales. So if you were to crunch these numbers, the revenue they generated on these sales is not even enough to cover 1% of the budget. It's not.
Here's the thing about like budgets and stuff. Like a game like that, it should have so much budget. What were they buying? Like, what, not buying, but like, if it took years to develop, and with you have to attribute to, like, you know, voice actors, of course, the, you know, the designers of the game itself, you know, like the programmers, artists, like, what money is being thrown to where? Like, we've been told the budget is $100 million. Where's the most of the budget going to? Is it going to ads, like marketing? Because like, if you need to make a game that's $100 million to like make, I think you need to like step back and look at the bigger picture of what is viable and what's not in the current like age. Like, probably when you first made or even like started the game, like it was probably at the tail end of or like somewhere near the end of, like, you know, Overwatch popularity, of like, yeah, everyone's trying to copy Overwatch, and Sony kind of was just not in it for long. Like, they were too late.
Not even enough to recuperate 1% of that $100 million. This is, I think, the biggest commercial failure in video game history. And with a staggering 8 years of development, Concord launched to an abysmal peak player count of 660 players on Steam.
Oh my goodness!
I would be laughing if it wasn't so sad, but this is a funeral, okay? Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League had a higher player count than Concord. Ladies and gentlemen, to put this in the most extreme context possible, I give you this. I could end the video right here, to be quite honest. What's even worse to consider is that a good chunk of these players were likely journalists or content creators who received early codes, or even some of the developers. So it begs the question, how does such a huge game that Sony has invested so much money, time, and effort into, how does it collapse this hard? Today we're going to answer that question. Why has Concord failed so spectacularly?
Yes.
Because just 2 weeks after launch, Sony has announced that they are pulling it from stores, refunding anyone who bought it, and shutting the servers down on September 6th, which is probably about the time this video is going to go live. They're giving it the full day before treatment. Not even Redfall was shut down this quickly, and that's so strange because Redfall was a total glitch fest. It was barely even a functioning video game, and yet Concord worked. It wasn't a good game, it wasn't unique, but it functioned. And that's
Yeah, like
usually like
Concord, from what I've heard, it was just boring. It wasn't buggy or anything. Not buggy with the other two games he listed. So, like, what's the deal? I'm pretty sure the designs, if I have to say, are the issue.
the bar where these kinds of games land is like they just don't fucking work and they're terrible. But Concord worked. That's what's interesting about it. In many ways, this situation is worse than the day before because that game was just a blatant scam, and this was like a genuine, real attempt to create a new first-party IP for the Sony brand. We are actually witnessing a historic moment, like something that might never happen on this level in the video game industry for a long time. While the video game crash in 1983 resulted in like $3 billion of revenue lost in the industry as a whole, as a singular product, I think Concord takes the cake. This is $100 million straight down the fucking toilet. The game director for Firewalk Studios, the developers, posted this update. An important update on Concord. Concord fans, we've been listening to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey abroad the North Star. Your support and the passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. I think one of the saddest things a person can witness is a situation where all hope is clearly lost. There is no light at the end of the tunnel, and yet there is still an element of positivity to it. Man, that fucking sucks for the developers. Like, you can sit here and say, yeah, it's their fucking fault for making this game nobody wanted and nobody cared to buy. But there are genuinely talented developers, you know, people on the ground floor who don't make the creative decisions, who probably put their heart and soul into this job and into this game, and it's just a total dud.
Yeah, like there's like people who go into like game designs and all that, like it's not even their own passion. It's like the passion of making something and then putting it out there. What they want is like people to, you know, hear what like they want like their stuff to like work in, and just having people hate on it, it's like it breaks my heart. And people who like not only hate it but like hate on the developers because they made a bad product, and they will never able to redeem themselves, or at least they won't ever show their name out there because it's like a stain, especially with like the head developers. They're not able to show their faces because like, oh, you made this though. It's like, what if it's out of their hands? Like what if it's like, you know, the main company doing it? Like there'll be like a back and forth, like, oh no, the company is lying, or no, this guy is lying. It's like you don't even know. Like it could just be like we're being, it's in the face value. Like there was a game that came out on PS3, I believe. Road to Hell Retribution. I forgot what it is, but it was supposed to be an open world turned to like just a mission base with oh, I'm trying to think. Mission based and with a hub, and you like buy weapons, upgrade your bike. And it was supposed to be like, it was supposed to be something else, but it wasn't. And from what I've heard, the developers actually really like what they made, even though it's being hated on and it's glitchy and stuff. Like they are proud of what they made. I'm guessing it's because not a lot of people make stuff and finish it, and they finished something, and it just goes to show you that you made something. And the people who started something and never ended up finishing it, like it just goes to show you that, like, oh, but I made a product. I made something that came out straight out of my head and onto something that people can enjoy, or at least try to enjoy with their own way of thing. What about you? Did you finish anything? No. What about that thing you started like a year ago? Are you done? It's supposed to be short. It's like, no. It's like, well, maybe you should. Maybe you should. Or at least do something with it.
And the forced positivity of it, it's just, something about that just is so sad to me. But I mean, we're still gonna make fun of it. While many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game in our initial launch didn't land the way we intended.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
Yeah, the fucking foundation disintegrated. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th and explore options, including those that will better reach our players. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. Yada yada yada. We'll keep you updated, and thank you again to all the free gunners who have joined us in the Concord Galaxy. All 2,000 of them. That's rough, buddy. I suppose credit where credit is due. They're not taking the small amount of money and running. They would probably face a lawsuit, you know. Although the developers could try to resuscitate the game with post-launch support, I can at least respect knowing when to call it quits. But I am once again asking you to listen, game publishers, to what I said in this video. There should not be so many failures in the game industry that I can keep referencing this video as an example of prophecy. Why was it necessary to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into this new release? It's like you're just hoping that every live service game you make is going to be the one to make $1 billion, and none of them are. Try developing new IPs on a smaller scale, built by fewer people, with a more cohesive creative vision that takes less risks, and if it does well, work your way up. That's how it fucking used to be. The Warcraft series started as a pretty fucking jank RTS, but it grew from that. These publishers are placing gargantuan expectations upon brand new game studios and just expecting them to make like billions of dollars right out the gate. This is such a monumental blunder that it's really important to take a deep look at why Concord failed and what this means for the game industry as a whole. Now, they say they're going to find ways to re-deliver the game, but I don't know if that's possible. The game is just not interesting to people. It's not visually appealing. The gameplay doesn't look fun or interesting or like anything we haven't seen before. I don't think there's a Fortnite turnaround in the cards here.
From what I've seen in the gameplay, it looks like a fun game. Well, I shouldn't say fun game. Like, it looks like a game. And the gameplay of it looks okay from what I'm seeing. I'm pretty sure it's like the designs of it. Like who wants to watch someone like play a robot that's basically a trash bin? Or well, I mean, there's probably a bunch of people, but you get what I'm saying. It's like mainly the designs
here. You know, Fortnite's original mode, it just kind of flew under the radar. Nobody cared too much, but
I
Epic
cared.
had the foresight to say, hey, maybe we can still make something out of this. It wasn't a lost cause. Concord has been the biggest high-profile disaster that most gamers are going to want to stay far away from the blast radius, you know? There isn't any sort of even Fallout 76 type redemption to be had here. It's not a case of No Man's Sky where the game had potential and it hooked people and they were willing to give it another shot with post-launch support.
Oh god, I remember No Man's Sky with their I remember how barren it was. Like, I went to Planet of Planet and never got to the center because I was like trying to grind for materials to get to the center. It just took so long, and just like, you know what, I'm done. And I think I streamed it when it first came out, No Man's Sky, I believe on YouTube. I had a bunch of people watching. I was actually kind of hyped about it.
I think this is just dead and done with. Future generations of gamers will associate Concord with failure, with disaster, kind of like what Brink used to be. Anybody remember that dumpster fire? Also, can we talk about...
Brink. Why do you have to bring up Brink? Like, as soon as I heard about that game, I was like, yeah, we're gonna... I even recorded it on my channel, too. It's somewhere out there. But we played that. It was supposed to be, like... I pre-ordered Brink. I did, too. Like, me and some friends were, like like super hyped about it and everything. Like, yeah, we're gonna all buy it, we're gonna play, we're gonna record and everything, and then only I bought it. No one else bought it. And I only recorded it. I don't know if I recorded with anybody else.
How funny it is that Sony decided to launch a live service game like this, which is dependent on a healthy player count to function, and they blocked this game's release from like 180 countries.
What?
What are you doing?
What? What do you mean you what? Do you block this game from other countries? No wonder it did bad.
Sony literally learned nothing from the Helldivers 2 debacle. Like, they looked at that and thought, you know what? We should have just launched the game like that, blocked in all these countries.
What are you doing?
To be fair, though, I think those 180 countries are happy they were saved from purchasing Concord. So, you know, count your blessings. It must be pretty clear to the execs at Sony that Concord's chances of revival are basically zero. So by shutting it down, they're able to save money on the cost of running servers, the electricity for the computers in the building. Perhaps they can save some money on their taxes by writing this off as a fucking business loss. They're just getting what they can back. And this is
An ad, so BRB. All right, we're back.
This is not reassuring to any aspiring game developers, I imagine. The people of Firewalk are probably utterly demoralized, and I can sympathize with that, albeit on a smaller scale. You know, it sucks when I put 2 weeks into a video that goes live and it's at the bottom. It's 10 out of 10, doing the worst, it's flopping. But that's only 2 weeks of work for like 1 to 2 people, you know? This was 8 years and 100 developers with a $100 million budget. I cannot even grasp my mind around the stakes and how much I would feel bad about failing on such a spectacular level.
And not to mention, from what I've heard, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but there's supposed to be like a tie-in between Prototype and Infamous, but I think that's debunked. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. Allegedly, it would, but I'm not entirely sure of it. So I've heard on this side it was true. I heard on that side it was not. So I'm just gonna put that out there and see if anyone knows about it.
So I really do sympathize with the developers on the ground floor, as can Cliff Bleszinski, who said on Twitter, "Concord, I feel your pain." For those that don't remember, Cliff Bleszinski was the lead designer on the first 3 Gears of War games. He later moved on to create Lawbreakers, another hero shooter that was less dead on arrival than Concord. And that game was shut down just a year after launch. We thought that was a crazy shutdown, 1 year. Concord lasted 11 days. If anyone knows what the Firewalk devs are going through right now, it's Cliff Bleszinski. Now,
Wait, isn't Lawbreakers the one that was so fast paced that like not a lot of gamers could actually get into it because it was super fast? Or am I thinking about something else?
the first major reason Concord failed is pretty obvious: bad marketing. I, like most people, saw the trailers for this game and thought, don't care. That's how our brains work, right? You have to implant a strong first impression to be like, what is this? Does it have a release date? When's that? I should put it in my calendar. Yo, homie, have you seen this Concord game? This looks kind of sick. Maybe we should try it out when it comes out. No, there was no word of mouth effect like that at all. I only learned of this game's existence a few weeks ago because I was doing research on upcoming hero shooters for the video I made on why Overwatch 2 was a pointless sequel, in which Concord was just a footnote in that video. Like, hey, maybe Concord is going to be one of those games that gives Overwatch 2 some competition.
You serious?
Really, Act Man? Really? I didn't fucking know anything about it. Okay, cut me some slack. But it's still bizarre that Concord could launch to such low player counts. Like, they had a flashy, big budget cinematic trailer that like clearly had a lot of effort put into it. It was being promoted on PlayStation's Showcase. They had plans for an animated spin-off series. They had written up a ton of lore and backstory.
What was that?
They had plans for an animated
Concord Secret Level episode is still scheduled to release despite the game's shutdown.
spin-off series. They had written up a ton of lore and backstory on the characters in the universe. They had limited edition controllers tied in with this game, which actually looks pretty sick, not gonna lie. There were months of planned live service updates with weekly story vignettes to keep players coming back. How could so few people have bought or played this or cared about it? Why did it become a ghost town?
660 people.
I'm like I think it's it's the fact that the designs are bad.
Now it's a ghost town.
One Reddit user pointed out that people who pre-ordered got access to the closed beta, and that closed beta peaked at about 1,100 players. The open beta drew in a max of 2,400. The game launched to a player count of less than 700, an indication that about half of the players who pre-ordered the game canceled it or got a refund before release. Wild. Meanwhile, Deadlock's hitting like 100K and it hasn't even fucking been announced yet. And I recently watched the cinematic reveal, and you know when you watch something and you're like, I don't feel anything? That's kind of what like a sociopath probably feels like. I just feel empty inside watching this. It comes across like a intergalactic co-op heist game, which could have been really cool. That's a cool concept. I mean, this big tower in the circling city, that's...
Well, if it's an intergalactic intergalactic game or whatever they said, like Thief, Why won't they make it into something besides a world shoot, like an open shooter thing? Unless they're planning on doing some sort of like single player missions somewhere in the future, which honestly I probably doubt it. But I mean, if they did, then congrats. But right now, they release with like a hero shooter. Okay, but where's my heist game? Like that would probably be cooler with these guys. Probably a more fitting designs, but like still though, like I'm already looking at the screenshot, and the yellow guy doesn't even look like the yellow robot doesn't even look like a main hero. It looks like part of the background.
It looks kind of cool, but the way the characters talk is uninteresting, mega cringe. They don't look visually appealing. It's like, oh, get it? This guy likes hot sauce. Isn't that so quirky? Ah, the old shoot the hot sauce bottle at him. A classic trick. I think it's generous to call this a cheap knockoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, you can already play as the real Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel Rivals. Just fucking play that. But you know, the setting was cool and interesting. Maybe we just needed time to get used to it. And then they said Concord would be a 5v5 hero shooter, and I think that's when most people just checked out, because there's a lot of those right now. But even in the gameplay trailers, where the footage has been curated and edited to be the best representation of the game possible, Concord still looked dull, unimaginative. I mean, just look at it. Compare this to the excitement present in the Black Ops 6 trailer. These gameplay showcases could be described as This is a brand new IP. It's a hero shooter, an established, saturated genre. You gotta blow us away with an explosive first impression. The game sounded even less appealing when the developers sat down and explained to us what Concord was. None of it sounded unique.
What? Sat down and explain. This is basically what David Cage did with his game. Oh, what was it? Indigo Prophecy. That's what he did. He went and sat down before the game even started and talk about what this game's about. And with the tutorials and everything, like, it was so out of place. And then when you finally play it, it's like, oh, hey, here's the game. Remember the controls? Like, why don't you implement it before? Like, I don't know. David Cage is a mystery.
All generic statements you could say about any first-person shooter. It's got a strong gameplay foundation, opportunities to outplay your opponent, tight core movement. Does it also have guns? And shooting? I love shooting things. If I'm not shooting, I'm not having fun. So for the people who watched these trailers and were aware of the game's existence, it probably didn't leave a strong impression, especially when it's in a showcase filled with other vastly more interesting games. In this article from The Gamer, there's a paragraph that summarizes people's sentiments perfectly. I'd never heard of Concord before the showcase, or if I had, what I'd heard or seen hadn't been memorable enough to stick in my memory. I didn't realize right off the bat that it was part of PlayStation's slate of live service titles, which set me up for a day-ruining disappointment. Damn! First impressions matter a lot, especially with new IPs, because they don't have that emotional equity with an audience to automatically grab their attention, and it didn't do a good job of grabbing people's attention. The second reason Concord failed, they missed the bus. It's gone, okay? And now the game is stuck at rock bottom. Even if this came out before Overwatch, it would have felt immediately outdated after Overwatch came out.
Yep. And then other people started copying it, and then Sony, with their, lateness, can't put this out. And even worse, what he said before, it seems like they were Guardians of the Galaxy's, like, not even the heroes, just the side characters, not even its background characters. So they were definitely wrong.
Overwatch 1, yes. If you're gonna show up 8 years late to the party, you better bring some goddamn good chips and a keg of beer. Where's the beer? It's not just that the hero shooter genre is oversaturated, it's that Concord did nothing to differentiate itself from its competitors. As if nowhere along this 8 stretch of development, they thought, hey, maybe we should change directions and try to innovate and adapt to the changing gaming landscape and what the current expectations are. I mean, you see this innovation in hero shooters like Deadlock, which is arguably more of a MOBA than a hero shooter. The aspects of Dota and League of Legends work to great success in Deadlock. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't play or feel like anything else out there. It's a genuinely innovative title, and it's in alpha, and the art style is still leagues better than this. They haven't even finished the fucking graphics on this game, and it still looks better. Marvel Rivals has the benefit of the Marvel IP and the hundreds of characters they can pull creative inspiration from. NetEase has already worked on Overwatch in the past, so they have experience with that type of game. Apex Legends blends hero shooters with the Battle Royale formula. Valorant mixes hero shooters with Counter-Strike. It's these combinations of different ingredients that makes the beverage taste unique. Concord doesn't have any of
Alright,
that.
I didn't know about any of those games.
There's no X factor, and it's late to a trend we've all been familiar with for the last 8 years. The third reason, and let's play a game. One of these is not like the other. Can you help me figure out which one?
Valorant? No. Rivals? I never heard of Rivals. Oh wait, no, Marvel Rivals. Never mind, I have. Deadlock looks pretty good. Apex Legends is Battle Royale, right? But no, they're hero. Like all of them are hero shows. So,
Is it this one? No?
Are we gonna go through the list?
What about this one? Oh, I see. It's Concord with a $40 price tag when every other competitor is free to play.
Wait, what? Okay, so it's okay. It's Concord because it's dead. Well, I mean, listen. Yes, Hook. The rest are free to play. I didn't know that. I honestly, I didn't know they were all free to play, except for Concord.
Gee, who could have seen this one coming? That this was a bad decision.
I thought they were talking about like gameplay wise.
At a time where inflation is also especially high in the US, gamers have to be wise with what they spend their money on, and they're likely to be even more conservative with their money because of games like Concord that turn into total duds. I don't know what to say. This is just a complete miscalculation. This is 2014 Seahawks at the Super Bowl throwing it when they're on the 2-yard line instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch. It's just a complete disaster of a calculation. The main appeal of live service games is that most of the times they're free. You might deal with some jank and bullshit, but the game's free, and if you want to support it with microtransactions, you can. So the barrier to entry is torn down and the business model is mostly geared towards cosmetics. That's the trade-off. But trying to do both is really difficult if the game isn't good enough. It's like trying to milk 2 cows at once. Asking for $40 up front is like forcing your guests in Roller Coaster Tycoon to pay to use the bathroom. It's like, no thanks.
Don't you do that?
I'll just shit my pants. Thank you. However, games that manage to blend an upfront cost with a live service model can sell well. Helldivers 2 is a prime example, but they also really didn't go too hard on the monetization. It's also been fumbling on the live service front, and that's kind of sad, but Arrowhead more than made their money back and then some. But Helldivers 2 also offered players something they had never seen or played before. It had style, grace. Concord has a funny face. Speaking of, the fourth reason the game failed, to put it nicely, it's visually unappealing. That's the nicest way to describe it. Not just the character designs, but the UI, the weapons, the maps, everything. It's generic, it's ugly. Visually, everything has a great amount of detail and high graphical fidelity, but it lacks style, it lacks charm. It means Concord only looks like lots of money was invested into it, but not much creativity. This is a hero shooter. The heroes are the selling point. This game has to have character. If I don't like the look, feel, or sound of these characters, then there's no reason for anybody to play it. So let's look at the roster, shall we?
Okay.
Teo. He looks like he's geared up to play laser tag.
He looks like he looks like you're like a Starfield character, like the type that you would either see in the background or maybe a follower. Like he's either one of the guards or that's what he looks like. He looks like a guard in the Starfield game.
I'm really not sure what's up with the asymmetric, like, one blue eye thing. I'm guessing this is like the Soldier 76 of Concord. Hamar looks like she got her outfit at Value Village. Like,
whatever this person is, I know he said it, but I forgot. I mean, it's okay. But like, what, like, crossbow and everything?
Concord. Hamar looks like
honestly, she looks okay. Like maybe put more stuff around the shirt, you know, like more style instead of like having it blank. It's like honestly, with the little balls around her, like the little veins around her waist, like it looks good for what it is. Just it needs more stuff on the clothes.
she got her outfit at Value Village. Like, she went to a thrift store. Out of all the ways you can cast fire in video games, why tiny little balls? Star Child is—
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
Exactly.
What the fuck is this?
Like, what am I... He looks like a background character. Like, no one cares about what he looks like. So they just created a background character for Guardians of the Galaxy. And that's him. Like, you see him, like, he's in the background, he's getting motivated by, you know, a speech Thor did. And then he's like, yeah! And that's it. That's the entire thing. It's just him in the background.
This supposed to be? The bright blue skin tone? This looks like my fucking custom Oblivion character that I'm trying to make as ugly as humanly possible. Oh my sweet lord.
It looks like a freaking Grineer from Warframe, except like they didn't want like the design, so they decided like no. Except the Grineer are a lot more better. Like they look good. But this one looks like a Grineer design that like they said, no, we're not gonna take.
This lady looks like if Warhammer 40k created a kids show to teach infants how to count. She looks like she would be the main character. She would be
yeah, with the little flag on top and everything. Like, what is her background supposed to be? Like, is the flag supposed to be like a whole wind direction? Because if so, like, cool, but like I feel like with heavy armor and stuff, like that's like a bad way. Because if the flag is for wind direction, shouldn't she like be a sniper? Like it would make the most sense instead of someone heavy. But if the flag's just for, you know, show, then sure. I mean cosmetic, as in like it's not even like there's no importance. If it was a sniper, then yeah, it would make sense because, you know, wind direction and all that, but it's like this one's not it. This one's not it.
Steve of Blue's Clues. Her design looks like a 6-year-old's interpretation of the Fallout power armor. Like, impressive for a 6-year-old. For $100 million, no siree. Ladies and gentlemen, it's right there. The red flag. I mean, it's in plain.
And what's with the lipstick too? Like, it does not do well with it clashes. Like, so many bright colors are clashing against each other. Like with the bright pink tape on it, the blue lipstick. Like I know you're trying to make it pop out, but like this is not it. I don't even know what they're trying to do.
In sight, they warned us. They tried to stop us from purchasing this game. They literally put a red flag on the character design. There's just nothing visually appealing about any of these characters. If you look at them, they're just all horrendously ugly. Or they have like such contrasting color schemes, or like this guy Jabali. Like isn't that a fucking stupid name? Jabali.
Jabali.
Look at him. He's got like a cowboy hat, Mad Max goggles.
I mean, he's okay. I mean, probably the hat would be. I'd probably give him a different type of hat, honestly, and probably give him darker clothes. It would work.
Fucking portable CD player attached to his chest and a turquoise what the fuck is this character design? Even the robot, dude.
Oh, I didn't see the head on top. Okay, but yeah, this is kind of bad. If I want my robot to be, look good, I don't want them to look like I just got them from like a dollar store for, for like, oh, this is an action figure and it just moves like very specifically, and if you move it too far, then it'll break its arm off without even trying.
He's literally called a trash dispenser.
Also, I just realized, him. Why are they giving those types of on the thing? Shouldn't that be in the about me section? Like, I feel like that's just a space that's made for something else if you're going to pick a character. Like, you would want to go to their bio first. And yeah, you can put that there, but anywhere else, like on the, scene, like, oh, this is the person you wouldn't want to get, or this is the person, like, no.
He's a fucking trash can. I bet Claptrap could beat the shit out of this guy. This is the fucking prototype for IG-88. This is IG-88's fat brother. This motherfucker looks like the Tiger brand rice cooker, man. Is there even one character that doesn't look like dog shit?
Come on, let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, while recording this video about why Concord failed, the Act Man tragically died from cringe. Did you know that over 700 people a year die from cringe? It's not a whole lot, but it is more than the peak concurrent player count of Concord. Usually it's self-inflicted deaths caused by one's own existence, but in this case, he's alive. So there's nothing about these heroes that looks cool.
What the frick are these characters? What the heck? Well, which one pops up more? Like, which one do I like based off of just these cards alone? Probably Roka, honestly. Roka looks okay. Everyone else just does not look great. I would burn the deck of cards. Or deck of characters, yeah. But this is like, if I had to choose, then like Roka, sure. But like, it's pushing it because like, it doesn't look that great. And I don't know what's with the visor, like the red visor. Maybe Vale. I don't know what's going on with Lark. And Kips, that's a god-awful design.
I'm confused by the art style. The color scheme is off-putting, and I don't know what the fuck any of these people, or if they're even people, are supposed to be. Compare this to any character in Overwatch and it's no contest. And that's the thing, as crazy as this sounds, people want to look cool in video games. This shit ain't cool. This is lame. Either make it cool or make it sexy. It's not hard.
I don't think tits could have saved this game, though, fellas.
The design of Concord's characters aren't just ugly.
Oh, it's a robot. Wait a minute, hold on, let me back up.
Could have saved this game, though, fellas.
The design of
oh, I see. It's still ugly looking.
Concord's characters aren't just ugly. They tell you nothing about the character.
Like,
oh, fellas.
The design of
like, why is it pink? I don't see any. Well, I mean, there are warm colors, but like, there's too much pink on it.
Concord's characters aren't just ugly. They tell you nothing about the character themselves. Let's pretend none of you have ever played Team Fortress 2. And I'm pitching the game to you, and I tell you, it's a hero shooter or class-based shooter. I want you to tell me what you think this guy does.
Let's see. He's wearing a suit. He has a mask on. He might be a burglar. You know, from Payday. Well, let's pretend we don't know about any video games and just show like a random character. He could be like interrogator. You know, one of those fancy men, or maybe an FBI agent. Am I getting close? Covert operative? Or maybe bank heister.
Kind of looks like he doesn't want his face to be seen. You know, maybe he's a stealthy kind of guy. What about him? Big machine gun?
Minigun, big dude. I think he's like a frontline type of guy. You know, shoots minigun, lots of bullets. You know, the main dude has a bulletproof vest on, so you know that he means business. But like everywhere else, like not really, but like it seems like cartoonishly cartoon style, you know.
He's got a bigger frame than the other guys. Bald, probably a tough dude, can dish out a lot of damage, can take a lot of damage, but can't move fast. You see how easy it is to like differentiate between good and bad art styles? What do you think the fucking rice cooker guy does? Did you guess that he's a robot that shoots fucking vacuum cleaners? The point is, Concord isn't interesting to look at. I don't want to look at it. So between the unappealing visual design, the $40 price tag, the generic nature
Vacuum
of the
cleaner.
gameplay, it's no wonder why Concord failed to capture a meaningful audience. But what is perplexing is how this was okayed by anybody. This is like Sony's Redfall. And right now, Sony is in dire straits. In 2022, they announced they had 10 live service games in production, and 6 of them would be released by March 2026. Layoffs have hit Sony developers, changing priorities for some of these live service titles. Others have been outright canceled, and some have become flops like Concord. This is representative of a wild overreach, an overexpansion and overinvestment into something Sony doesn't know how to market or create. They're just throwing money away in the trash can and lighting it all on fire. It has to stop. It's easy to point and laugh at the ridiculous character designs, but truly, it's tragic that so much money and time and effort has gone to waste in such spectacular fashion. Actually, fashion isn't even a word you can use when describing this game. I sure am glad they didn't use, $10 million, $20 million to make a new Jak and Daxter. Really glad we didn't get that instead.
A remake even.
And we've already seen the industry hit with tens of thousands of layoffs, and critical flops like Concord will do nothing but contribute to this declining health of the video game industry and the hobby we all care about. Something needs to change, and it needs to change now. But these are the reasons why Concord has failed and why Sony is shutting it down just 2 weeks after launch. But what do you think? Which of these characters would you bang? None of them? Me too. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Ackman. This was very informative. But apparently, it's been a month since I watched these videos in a month. Because I want to give, the creators views so they can, cash in, and then I can react a month later, that sort of thing. But that's not about me. Very good video, very good video. Oh, hello, Gelato. How's it going? Apparently I don't have my things up on here, so I'll probably have to do that. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for the follow, dude. You're now one of my gems. Or just watching some videos, or reacting some videos. It was very, very informative. What? We just got done with Ackman's Concord's the biggest failure in gaming. How's going your stream? Oh, yeah, it's good. It's doing good. Let's see. Let's see what Nintendo's doing. Like, see what they're being evil again. Am I gonna get hit with an ad again? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gelato.
I like Nintendo games. I don't like Nintendo as a company. I've said this for 6 years now. Nintendo constantly makes decisions that are actively just hurting the biggest fans of their property. It seems like they're just hell-bent on ruining people's passion for their properties.
Oh yeah. Did you hear about this was like a while ago, but did you hear about Samus, or excuse me, the Metroid remake that someone was making for free? Yeah, they just not just, but they were struck with like a cease and desist because they didn't want them to recreate a game and from the ground up for some reason. Your PFP and OC? Yes, it is.
They're just on this warpath against fun itself. It's like when SpongeBob had to teach Plankton what fun is. That's what the community constantly does for Nintendo, only for them to just shout "bah humbug" and then send you a cease and desist, or just outright slap you down, or if you're a YouTuber, issue you a strike. Oftentimes Nintendo is just evil for the sake of it. Like, I'm talking mustache twirlingly sinister. Like, the Nintendo Corporation is a villain that Mario would have seeked to slay in one of his games. Like, I remember a case like 4 years ago.
Thank you.
Where Nintendo banned a handful of streamers for playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity early.
What? Wait. They banned
to slay in one of his games. Like, I remember a case like 4 years ago where Nintendo banned a handful of streamers for playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity early.
Why? Why would they do that? Would you mind I say something? Sure.
Except they weren't playing it early. Nintendo just forgot that time zones exist, so they banned streamers who were playing the official release of Hyrule Warriors because they forgot. That's how out of touch and archaic Nintendo is, and how willing they are to just bend someone over and spank their cheeks raw, even when there's no real reason to do so. This is something Nintendo has done for years now with like Smash Brothers, which I've talked about endlessly, but they get up extra early in the morning just to hate. Like, they try and just ruin fun.
Okay. I'm just wondering why people always shell out for Nintendo a lot. Like, I get it. There's some Nintendo only games that you can only get through buying their consoles, and yes, I get it, they're fun. But like, Nintendo as a company is freaking evil.
Nintendo would send assassins to Santa Claus's workshop if they found out that one of the elves made an unlicensed Yoshi plushie. I know I'm getting a little lost in the sauce here, but I just get very passionate when I talk about how menacing Nintendo is for no reason.
I love to draw OCs, and I have an amazing idea in mind for your character, which tell me I'm sure you would love and enjoy it. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Are you selling me something? You're selling me something, aren't you? I hope you're not. Because if you are, then you can go somewhere else.
So the reason why I'm talking about them today is because they've just dealt a massive blow to emulation. Nintendo deserves more shit than a porta potty for this, and I really hope they get huge backlash for it, because I think this is just completely unacceptable. It started 2 days ago with a channel called Retro Game Corps announcing that they had received strikes for content that had a Nintendo game running on an emulator. The channel owner explains that they are considering a counterclaim under fair use as it was educational and transformative and had no effect on the market.
I heard about this. The dude... I'll just let the video play, but did you hear about this?
Demonstration of a console no longer for sale. Even the Wii U eShop is closed, so the company itself has no means of earning revenue from Wii U sales. So this is one of the core components and what makes emulation so important. There are games that aren't being sold anymore and cannot be accessed outside of emulating them. It's fucking ridiculous. It is an incredibly important tool for preservation. But the only thing Nintendo's interested in preserving is that chip on their shoulder they have against any kind of internet content that shows their games. So they once again overstep and issue strikes for this, which is something Nintendo has done since the dawn of YouTube itself. There was a time period where you couldn't actually have a YouTube video that had a Nintendo game in it because Nintendo would have your account banned. They fucking hate it for some reason. They try and protect their copyright with an iron fist. And I know there's always people that have Nintendo's cock in their mouth trying to make arguments on their behalf, doing free PR for them, fighting their battles, saying things like, oh yeah, but people will download games that they don't have on emulators and that hurts Nintendo. Load of baloney. That's dirty barnacles, especially in cases like this. There is no one getting hurt by emulating games that are not accessible through official means.
Exactly. Like in my own preference, there have been like I've streamed games emulated before. That's because they're no longer available to buy. And if they were, then it's only used, which means it's not even going towards the company. If it was like any way to buy them, I would be buying them. Like hands down. Like for real.
There's tons of games like that. Emulation is extraordinarily important, and Nintendo does everything it can to ruin it. And in doing so, they even try and ruin other people's lives in the process. That channel now has 2 strikes on their YouTube account, meaning that they're 1 strike away from having their account terminated, meaning a source of revenue, part of their livelihood, is on the cusp of being taken away at the hands of Nintendo. And no amount of groveling at Nintendo's feet ever appeases them. The only thing that appeases them is complete fucking destruction of fun and destruction of emulators. So the big thing that happened today is they just shut down Ryujinx. Ryujinx is one of the last main remaining Switch emulators, and it just got wiped out today. Like the dinosaurs with the fucking meteor, Nintendo came in and they put the kibosh on it. According to an official statement on Ryujinx Discord server, developer GDK Chan was contacted by Nintendo, offered an agreement to stop working on the project, and the agreement wasn't confirmed, but the organization has been entirely removed. So here's the Discord announcement about it, talking about how it's going to cease operations. And like I mentioned, this is one of the last remaining Switch emulators. This isn't the first time Nintendo's done this. They took down Yuzu not that long ago, which was the big boy on the block. That was the sheriff in town.
Yuzu. Do I know about that? No. It wasn't it. Okay, I thought it was something else.
Yuzu was the go-to Switch emulator until Nintendo put it in the crosshairs and they took it out behind the barn.
Of course they did.
Nintendo's motto is, you'll have fun with our games the way we want you to. Any other way that you enjoy our products is not acceptable, it's not permissible, it's illegal, you're going to jail, buster. Nintendo has a set way that they believe things should be done with their property. And we see it in Smash Brothers, where they don't believe it should be a competitive game, so they've never shown support for Smash Brothers and have even actively gone out of their ways to shut down tournaments over the years. And that's just a community of people that love their games, trying to put on events for their games, and Nintendo sometimes comes out there and says, nope, shut it down, pussy. Like, they go out of their way to ruin fun. They've been a little better about not destroying Smash tournaments recently, but historically, you've always just had a coin flip on whether or not Nintendo's going to show up and just say, that's enough, take this down. And it's that way for so many things. It's just so unnecessary, and it's always so heavy-handed. They always choose, like, scorched earth, like the most aggressive path they can take. Strikes on your channel, banning your stream for 48 hours, like shutting down your Twitch channel for 48 hours, which is fundamentally, like, to put that in perspective, Nintendo having that power is basically Nintendo showing up to your job and firing you for 48 hours. Like, that's how extreme it is. It's so stupid.
So wait. You're saying
path they can take. Strikes on your channel. Things. It's just so unnecessary, and it's always so heavy-handed. They always choose, like, scorched earth, like the most aggressive path they can take. Strikes on your channel, banning your stream for 48 hours, like shutting down your Twitch channel for 48 hours.
Oh yeah, for streaming a game that you weren't expecting the time zone thing. Right.
Which is fundamentally, like, to put that in perspective, Nintendo having that power is basically Nintendo showing up to your job and firing you for 48 hours. Like, that's how extreme it is. It's so stupid. It's silly. Well, it would be silly if it wasn't so destructive. And it's not like they're doing anything good. Like, they're not releasing an emulator of their own. Like they take down these emulators, and then what? Then the games are just inaccessible. Some games you will never be able to play again now. There are some games that now just fade into memory, a myth, a legend even, that can never be played again because Nintendo is destroying emulators. It's like, if they had a competing product, I'd understand. That'd be understandable. It'd make a little more sense, like, oh, okay, Nintendo views this as competition. They're kind of stepping on their toes. Like, they have an official emulator, and now there's a bunch of unofficial ones out there.
Yeah, there's just so many people that just praise Nintendo no matter what happens. And it's kind of annoying to hear about this because there's just so many people that love the Mario games. I get it. They love Nintendo. They want to work for Nintendo, but it's not the same company as it used to be. At least allegedly, what I thought it would be. Like what I thought, because it seemed like right after the person, I forgot his name, but the one who passed away, it seems like the company kind of went towards like an evil route. But like the games they make are good. The company itself is bad.
There, so I guess I'd understand why they'd be reaching their tendrils out there to try and stop that. But they don't. They don't have an emulator. They don't have ways of playing games from the old Wii U shop or anything. They don't have ways of playing some of these games. The only option are these emulators.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pay like $500. No, not $500. Like $1,000 for a console and like I was gonna say 3,000. It's probably not 3,000, but like $500 for a game, like for instance, let's just say Mario Party, not Mario Party, like one of the original Mario games. I'm not gonna buy a Mario Kart 64 or something for that much. Like, are you serious? Like, like I would rather download an emulator because because first of all, you're not getting, like, Nintendo's not even getting the money. First of all, let's just be clear. Allegedly, the company is not getting money. That we know. And secondly, why are they just so persistent about this?
Which now are no longer an option because Nintendo is burying them. They are such a litigious company, yet so lethargic when it comes to, like, delivering things that make sense. Their Nintendo Online service is still a fucking joke. That is still a dial-up service that you're paying for, basically. Every Nintendo Online game I've ever played, especially Smash Bros. Ultimate Online, is fucking sickening. Like, their games, like, they're fun. They're very fun games, but their hardware is outdated. Their hardware is archaic. A fucking calculator on your iPhone is probably more powerful than the entire Switch console.
Right.
Like, Nintendo is so behind on the times, but they have such good first-party games from, like, some very creative people internally that make bangers, but it's all wrapped up in this company that is out of touch and downright greedy and evil. There is no reason Nintendo should be shutting down emulators. They are doing your work for you. They are creating more fans of Nintendo property than Nintendo is. What Nintendo should do is release an emulator of their own. What they should do is offer better services as opposed to shut down the better services. Like, they're shutting these emulators down without having anything of their own that is an improvement. They don't have anything. It's just dumb. I hate it. I actually hate it. So yeah, I wanted to rant about this a little bit. It's a classic, probably like 2 or 3 times a year, Nintendo rant where I just have to spit on that company. It sucks. I really am so upset with them because they make such good games. It would just be such a slam dunk, an easy layup for Nintendo to just finally turn a new leaf and start getting into the 21st century. Like, finally doing things that aren't just needlessly evil, that aren't just cease and desisting everyone and everything and shutting projects down, taking down fan projects. Like, it's just so unnecessary.
Didn't someone who made Sonic bring them in? Didn't someone who made something on a Sonic game and Sega was so impressed they actually hired them to make something else? And that would be good. Like, can't Nintendo do that? Are they just, again, stuck in their old ways? Like, you might as well be it. Like, if you like Nintendo, Sega is the close thing to do it. And if you like some of the Sega games, you want to make a game off of it, then you may have like get some attention from Sega. And guess what? You can probably get hired by Sega to do some, third party stuff, like not third party, but like some stuff on the side, like what I believe what they did with like the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. The little visual novel game. I think that's what they did allegedly, but I need to get my facts straight, but that's what I think what happened. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So yeah, RIP to Ryu Jinx. Hopefully that YouTuber doesn't lose his account to Nintendo, and big fuck you to Nintendo. That's about it.
All right. What are the retro games? Holy crap! Thanks for the support, Mr. Critical. Love you and Hunger. Nintendo Cycle, make game that everyone likes, good PR while iron is hot, make the most random corporate decision that hurts reputation of the company, cover it up with an announcement, wait and repeat. There are two ways of having the tallest tower in the world. You build the tallest tower in the world, you build a tower, then destroy any tower taller than yours. Nintendo, when they find out they drink coffee, gives them power up, sue for copyright patent. And that's another thing with that. Wait, no. Is Nintendo part of Pokemon? I don't think so. At least, maybe. Actually, I think they are. Well, if they're not, then it would say for something. But yeah, Game Freak is Pokemon. Okay. But still, it's probably like Game Freak and then Nintendo. I wouldn't doubt it either, because like it literally most, if not all, the Pokemon games are on a Nintendo console of some type. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Critical, for telling us this. Because honestly, just Nintendo being evil just for the sake of it. Even their Pokemon games. Well, I mean Game Freak, but like I'm pretty sure they're telling them, hey, you need to finish this by, let's just give it a pretty long date, 3 months. But like, sir, we're only like halfway done. It's like, well, just get it done, okay? I expect it to be done. It's like, but it's gonna take a while for this. Like, can we at least get more money? To hire more people? It's like, you got this, Tiger. You got this. That's what's happening with Nintendo. And then when Nintendo was like, when Game Freak doesn't have a lot, they just I really should say just money people don't get started on Japanese animation studios. Probably a reason why. Yeah, that's another thing that we are not gonna get into, because I could literally rant about freaking Japanese workplaces. And I was just about to rant, especially when you're trying to get out of the job. You can't get out of the job because they will make you feel really bad about yourself. That's why you need to hire a lawyer to get out. This is a box of fireworks ready to explode. It is, and I'm just saying like one of the more lighter things. But yes, thank you, Mr. Critical, for the video. I would like to watch more, but right now I'm starving. Food. All right. Charlie is very insightful. Yes, there are some things that I don't agree on, which I mean, it's good because I'm like, it means I have an open mind. Bookmarks. All right. Let's see who's on. It has a slight addiction to MT. Yeah, I've seen most of his videos with that. Amazing. Nope. Trying to see if anyone I know is on. Ad starts. No. You snooze. Thank you for the stream. Oh, you're welcome, King or King of Fables. I appreciate that. I actually do. We're gonna raid into a good friend who's doing a donathon, so let's go and do that. Hey! Who told you you can pet me? How dare! Trying to find thing here. Hold on. Here we go. Nintendo did what? There we go. Copy that, and we shall get started. Triven said 1 pet, but it will cost me. And I'm gonna bite it. Yeah. You'll need to use your own emotes. Someone was playing Corn Kids. Oh well. Another time. Thank you for the 2-month subscription. It didn't pop up for some reason. All right, give Venus some love. They're a good bean. I will see you all maybe tomorrow, depending on what I'm doing. But yeah, thank you again, and have a good night.